Somewhere inside you, there's always been that subtle pull, that strange pressure that shows up right before life shifts. It feels like something is pushing on you, not to break you, but to shape you. What if I told you that the moments that feel like collapse are almost always the moments where your next breakthrough is forming? Not because you failed, but because you've outgrown an energetic pattern, and the universe is rearranging itself to match the person you are becoming. But that rearrangement rarely looks gentle. It often shows up wearing the mask of chaos. This is where most people lose their way. They confuse dismantling with defeat. They forget that in the quantum field, collapse is what allows creation. Think about the double-slit experiment in quantum physics. Particles behave like waves, pure possibility, until intention focuses them into a single outcome. What most people don't realize is that before the collapse, there's turbulence, an entire storm of probabilities shaking loose. When you're standing at the doorway of a breakthrough, your life starts trembling because your old frequency doesn't match who you're becoming. You're not failing, you're tuning, but tuning doesn't feel soft, it feels like emotional whiplash. Plans fall apart, people drift away, opportunities pause. What was once obvious becomes murky. Calm becomes doubt, and that's the initiation. The field isn't asking you to push harder, it's asking you to release the structures that were built on a version of you that no longer exists. That pressure you're feeling? It's the friction between the self you used to be and the quantum self rising to the surface. Let's go deeper. In systems theory, there's a term, the bifurcation point. It's the exact moment a system under stress can no longer maintain its old form and is forced to evolve into something more coherent. But here's the paradox. Before that new order appears, the system must first pass through disorder. What looks like destruction is actually reconstruction. What feels like resistance is actually alignment. This exact dynamic plays out inside you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, they form a living system. And when the system can no longer hold the energy you're stepping into, it destabilizes, not because you're broken, but because you're becoming too powerful for the old version of your reality. And when everything feels like it's spinning out of control, you face a choice. Retreat back into what's familiar, or breathe through the fire and let the field rewire you. Here's the part most people miss. Your body already knows how to handle chaos. Your heart, when brought into coherence, sends clarity to your brain. Your breath, slow and deep, calms your nervous system and expands your awareness. Your intention programs your energetic signal. So the real question is, can you stay conscious in the shakeup? Can you stop trying to fix what's dissolving and trust what's forming? There's a reason this intensity feels collective. Many people are experiencing what mystics and scientists call the disintegration of identity, the collapse of parts of you built on fear, control, and separation. It feels like an ending, but it's actually initiation. You're not losing your direction. You're being redirected toward the version of you that already exists in the frequency of your next chapter. If you're hearing this, it's not random. Something in you is already shifting. This message didn't appear by accident. You're standing at the threshold and your next version is already vibrating in the field around you. In the next part, you'll understand the deeper mechanics of this collapse and rebirth cycle. You'll see why chaos in your emotional field is actually coherence trying to emerge. And you'll learn how to spot the signs that your breakthrough isn't approaching. It's already unfolding. Stay with me. There's more here than you think, and what waits on the other side of this difficulty will make everything worth it. Have you ever noticed that the moment right before everything changes is often the moment you feel closest to giving up? That urge to quit is not psychological, it's energetic. Before any system reorganizes into a higher order, it passes through instability. This is true in biology, fluid dynamics, galaxies, and yes, your consciousness. Everything in your life is frequency. Your relationships, your health, your finances, your emotions, they all mirror the energy you've been emitting. And when you begin to shift your inner state through meditation, intention, breathwork, or healing, the field around you begins shifting too. Here's where it gets tricky. Your current reality, whether comfortable or painful, is held together by energetic agreements. Your thoughts, habits, and identity form a gravitational pull that stabilizes your world. When your frequency rises, those stabilizing patterns begin dissolving. At first, it feels like nothing is happening. Then slowly, friction appears. You feel tired. Setbacks pop up. Aligned people drift away. This is where most people misread the signs. They interpret resistance as a warning to turn back. But what's really happening is synchronization. Your internal coherence is rising, and everything that doesn't match that new signal begins breaking apart. It's not sabotage, it's recalibration. This unease is a necessary decoherence. The old frequency is losing power, and your nervous system is learning to stabilize a new one. From a quantum perspective, this is the split second before reconfiguration, the moment the wave collapses from possibility into form. The outcome depends on your emotional state during this instability. If you contract in fear, you reattach to the old timeline. If you stay present through the discomfort, you anchor the new one. It's like surfing. The wave rises, becomes chaotic. And in that moment, you can panic and fall, or lean into the momentum and ride it. So what are the signs you're in the middle of an energetic shift? 1. Intense emotional waves. Old grief, anger, or fear rises without a clear cause. That's stored energy leaving your field. 2. Old patterns resurfacing. It's not backtracking, it's the final clearing. 3. Disorientation. You question everything. This isn't confusion, it's identity dissolving. 4. Time feels strange. Your brain is exiting survival mode. 5. Moments of deep stillness after emotional storms. That's new coherence forming. You're not lost. You're exiting the frequency where your old life made sense. This stage is sacred, but it's uncomfortable on purpose. Without discomfort, there is no detachment, and without detachment, the field has no space to deliver the new. Mystics call this the dark night of the soul. Modern physics might call it vibrational death of the outdated self. And like any death, it must be honored. What comes after this? Alignment, creativity, clarity. A version of you that's more powerful than anything you've accessed before. But first, you have to stay present through the noise. In the next part, you'll learn how to work with the discomfort instead of resisting it, and how to remain aligned during the shift rather than collapsing inside it. Because the energy you hold in your hardest moments is what shapes your next reality. Your new timeline is closer than you think. Sometimes, before life expands, it contracts. Not because you're slipping backward, but because your field is clearing room. Most people misread this contraction as failure. They don't realize it's evidence that their current frequency can't contain the energy they're beginning to embody. Your outer reality always mirrors your energetic set point, and as you elevate that set point through intention, healing, presence, the universe must rearrange to match it. This rearrangement often looks like friction because friction is recalibration. Let me share a story. A man spent more than a year visualizing a career shift. He meditated, practiced gratitude, set intentions. Nothing happened until everything fell apart at once. Projects failed. His confidence evaporated. He began doubting the process altogether. What he couldn't see at the time was that the breakdown wasn't blocking him. It was clearing the field. Days later, a new opportunity appeared. One perfectly aligned with the version of himself he had been gradually becoming. The collapse wasn't punishment. It was preparation. Here's what the quantum field understands. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest what you're coherent with. When your frequency changes, reality must respond. Anything aligned with your old identity begins dissolving. That dissolution is the sign the field is working. The breakdown is the bridge. But if you panic during the dismantling, you reattach to the old timeline and recreate the very reality you were trying to outgrow. Awareness is everything. Here are 3 deeper signs that your field is reorganizing, even if progress seems invisible. 1. Synchronicities increase, but results delay. Repeating numbers, symbols, intuitive nudges appear, but the outcome hasn't landed yet. This means the field is syncing with your new frequency. 2. Old energies exit your life quickly. People leave, patterns collapse. It feels like loss, but it's clearing distortion. 3. You feel neutral, not excited. Neutrality means integration. Your nervous system is stabilizing a higher frequency. You're no longer chasing, you're broadcasting. So what should you do during this shift? Do less, feel deeper, breathe slower. The field doesn't need your effort, it needs your alignment. When you stop forcing and start listening, you step into quantum trust. Trust is the fastest frequency of manifestation. From a physics perspective, everything self-organizes by frequency. Coherent fields attract coherent outcomes. Your job is not to force the result, it's to become the field that holds it. In the next part, you'll learn how to stay grounded through chaos, how to meet fear with awareness, and how to shift from reaction to resonance, with a powerful tool to navigate the hardest part of the breakthrough. Because once you understand what's happening behind the scenes, trusting the unseen becomes easier. Let's talk about the stage no one prepares you for. The middle of the shift. That strange in-between where the old life doesn't fit, but the new hasn't fully arrived. It feels confusing, destabilizing, emotional, and it's exactly where most people abandon the process. They don't realize that this in-between isn't empty, and it's active. This is where the quantum field rewrites timelines, dissolves resistance, and reroutes possibilities. But only if you remain coherent through discomfort. So how do you stay aligned when everything feels unstable? Not by forcing, by attuning. Here's a simple 3-step energetic reset called the trust shift. Step 1. Breathe into your field. Close your eyes. Focus on your heart. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale gently. Let your breath become fluid. No pauses. This shifts your nervous system into coherence. Step 2. Say the signal. Repeat silently. I trust the flow. Not because everything makes sense, but because your job is not control. Your job is signal. Each repetition pulls your awareness from your mind into your heart. Step 3. Allow what's unfolding. Don't ask, why is this happening? Ask, what is this making space for? This question transforms reactivity into intelligence. You stop collapsing timelines based on fear and begin broadcasting presence, the most magnetic frequency you can hold. Now let me speak to the part of you that doubts all of this. The voice saying nothing is changing isn't truth. It's an echo of your old frequency trying to survive. It's not your enemy, but it can't lead. The part of you that must lead now is your embodied awareness, the part that knows I don't need proof to align, I don't need evidence to resonate. That's the shift. That's what the universe responds to, and if you're still here, I know you feel it, the quiet tremble of something forming behind the scenes. Your energy recognizes it even if your mind doesn't. So let's anchor this moment with a broadcast. In the comments, type, I trust the flow. These words aren't just affirmation, they're a frequency. They signal I'm open, I'm present, I'm not rushing the field, I'm attuning to it. Say it once. Say it daily, say it whenever you feel the urge to control. Because the moment you release the timeline, the field reveals the path. In the next part, you'll uncover the unconscious contracts that block manifestation and how to dissolve them without pushing or forcing. Because you were never meant to wrestle reality into place. You were meant to resonate with it. Let's be honest, you've journaled, meditated, visualized, surrendered. And yet, some part of you still feels stuck in a loop. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because even awakened people fall into energetic traps. Habits so subtle they keep you aligned with timelines you're trying to transcend. Let's decode the 5 most common energetic errors that block your shift. Error 1. Performing alignment instead of embodying it. Repeating affirmations but carrying tension inside. Energetically, performance is manipulation. The field responds to truth, not theatrics. Error 2. Waiting for proof before relaxing. The moment you need evidence before peace, you anchor your frequency in doubt. The field mirrors that doubt back to you. Error 3. Overthinking the how. This contracts your field. Quantum systems reorganize through probabilities, not through linear logic. Error 4. Negotiating with your old identity. You claim you're ready for change, yet you cling to the version of you that survived suffering. Error 5. Mistaking discomfort for misalignment. Growth is uncomfortable. Your nervous system interprets new frequency as threat, not because you're off track, but because you're leaving the familiar. Here's the truth. None of these errors are flaws. They're invitations, opportunities to refine your signal. The moment you see the pattern without judging yourself, you unhook from the old frequency. Try this the next time you feel stuck. Ask yourself, what energy am I radiating right now? Let your awareness drop into your body. Find the space between your thoughts and your truth. That gap is your doorway into the next timeline. In the final part of this journey, we'll integrate everything. You'll receive a guided practice to stabilize your new frequency through chaos and the single most important mindset that turns temporary discomfort into permanent transformation. Let's bring this full circle with a simple, energetic protocol that aligns your mind, body, and field in under 90 seconds. It's called the Quantum Calm Protocol. Step 1. The centering breath. Close your eyes. Inhale for 4. Hold for 2. Exhale for 6. Release urgency. Return to presence, not as an idea, but as a vibration. Step 2. The field declaration. Hand on your chest. Say, even this is part of my alignment. Feel resistance dissolve. Step 3. Visualize the rearrangement. Picture the chaos, people, emotions, decisions as scattered particles. With each breath, see them reorganizing according to your frequency, not your fear. They're not falling apart. They're falling into place. You're not being tested. You're being calibrated. You're a signal, not a statistic. A creator, not a controller. When you stop trying to outthink the universe and instead become coherent within it, everything shifts. So here's the invitation. Not a demand, not a push, just a doorway. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, if even a single part of you softened or expanded, then this space, this channel, is for you. Subscribing isn't about more videos. It's about joining a frequency, a movement of conscious creators who don't just talk about the shift. They embody it. Hit subscribe, not to become someone new, but to remember who you already are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting the pause, the paradox, the process. And when it feels like everything is falling apart, it might be because your soul just made space for the reality you've been waiting for.